This part of the segment I would like to call Panel Deep Dive, where I take 2 comics that I have recently read and I'm going to share some of the insights that I had while reading, things that might have stood out. Could be that I love the art style, I like the way they handled character concepts, I liked the paneling or the inking or the colors. Pretty much anything. These would normally be books that I get from my library. Because it's my library, I don't really have any real preference. If it looks cool, I'll check it out and pick it up. Those 2 books today are The Deep Dark by Knox Ostertag, Roald Dahl's The Witches, the graphic novel by Pénélope Bagieu. Let's dive in. Alright, so let's dive into 2 more books. This first one is called The Deep Dark by Knox Ostertag. This is another book that I got from my library. This is a graphic novel, and this is the first time I actually read this author. I did not read the synopsis, which is actually in the inside of the book. You know what? I'm not going to read the synopsis because this book has a very interesting story. It's saying a lot. I'm not sure exactly what it's saying because depending on your life experiences, you could take the subtext of this story many different ways. So yeah, it's a great book that I think makes you think about what is this thing. The reason why I wanted to share this book is because I am, well, besides the fact that I love the story, enjoyed the artwork, I have been trying to find my inking style, trying to find my style, and because I'm influenced by both manga and comics, I have very interesting things that I want to do with my comic, and I kind of keep flopping back and forth between, do I want to go more towards manga, do I want to go more towards comics, but ultimately I just know I want to tell stories. And this book, the way it does the art style, I think I needed to see it because it allows me to kind of relax a little bit, that I don't need to go as hard as I think I need to on my comic. So let's take a look. And I mean, look at that first page. You guys see that? It's really cool. The Deep Dark. This is another kid's book. This was in the teen section. It had some adult sort of things in it, but hey, I mean, if the library says it's for kids, then I guess the kids are doing a lot different things than I used to do when I was a kid. But I love the simplicity of this style. I love the openness of the frames. Look at how she handles the panelless borders. You know, yeah, there's some panels here, but for the most part, a lot of this book is just little vignettes of, you know, full bleed, basically. Or no panel bordering. No panels. You get little pops of color here and there. Pink in the sink for the blood. Little pops of light for the yellow. But I really liked the cartooniness, the soft details. This artist does, let me not say this artist, Molly does a really good job of just storytelling. Like, this is obviously not her first graphic novel, but just the little details are just great. I'm not going to go through the whole book. I just want to show a couple things more about how, so like, it's been in black and white, gray tone basically, or grayscale I should say. And then she gets a text. You see that pop of light. And then here comes the color, because this person who's messaging her is bringing back a memory. Do you remember me? And then you get the full color. And even this part is like the colors are just simply done. It's cell shading, nothing crazy, but it gets the point across. And it's just a really, really good story. A really good way of using color to enhance your story, only using it as you need it. And then, of course, it goes back to black and white, back to normal life. And like I said, I just love how open and free the panel is. It's not very, or the page layouts are, it's not very boxy, like, they're having a conversation, and it flows really well. At first, when I first started reading this book, it was a bit jarring because I'm like, where are the panel borders? Where are they? And I thought that maybe this had been a webtoon before, but as far as I know, that it was not a webtoon. It was made strictly for Scholastic. So, great story. Like I said, I am a sucker for story, and this book, the more you read into it, the more the story deepens, and there's, like I said, there's things going on in the background, and you're asking yourself questions. You want to know more, but Molly doesn't info dump. She doesn't hold your hand. You pretty much just have to go along with the characters. And when the characters want to express more, then you're going to get more. Like I said, love it. The art style is great. There's one little other storytelling part that I want to show. Let me see if I can find it. This is one little segment that I wanted to show you. Her mother is moving out. Her mother is moving out to live with her boyfriend, about to become her fiance, I believe, something like that. She's asking her daughter, like, hey, are you going to be coming out to Tom's? And she's like, oh, yeah, I lost track of time. And I just love how, you can tell that she's reluctant to go. She's getting dressed, she's driving, and you can see the haze. Like, I like how she uses this textured smudge brush to create this like haze that this character is definitely in their head. And she finally arrives at the event. She sees the house all lit up. You see the light shining on her face, but you see there's something going on, and then she turns around away from the house. Like, great storytelling. And then still in the fog. Great storytelling. But yeah, so that was The Deep Dark, Molly Knox Ostertag. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth reading. I actually, on Hoopla actually has all of her books. So if you have a library card and you have Hoopla, definitely give it a read and let me know what you thought about it. This next one is called The Witches, and the original story is by Roald Dahl. The graphic novel was adapted by Pénélope Bagieu. And this is another book that I picked up again from my library. You're going to hear that a lot on these little segments. But I happened to be in the kids section, and I saw the purple colored spine. I like witches, so I was like, what's this about? I pulled it out, I saw the cover, I was greatly surprised. So this one, you might be familiar with Roald Dahl because he is the creator of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the BFG, and there was another popular book, Matilda. I know a lot of people are very familiar with his stories. This book I'm sharing for one, I like the story. I laughed throughout the story. I loved how they treated the characters in the story, which I don't know if it was Penelope pushing those character elements or if it was Roald's just writing, because his writing is very good. But another reason why I wanted to share this book was because of the art style. The art style is very different. And to me, like I said, it's kind of a reminder. Like, there is a art style for all types of books. There's a genre for all types of books. I guess if you are self-conscious about your art style or you feel like you can't draw, then this book, and I'm not saying this artist can't draw. I'm just saying that the simplicity of her style, it's very stylized, it's very simple, but the point is, but that simplicity is perfect for a kid's book. The Witches. Actually, I will read the back of this. So it says, witches are real and they are very, very dangerous. They wear ordinary clothes and have ordinary jobs, living in ordinary towns all across the world. And there's nothing they despise more than children. When an 8-year-old boy and his grandmother come face to face with Grand High Witch herself, they may be the only ones who can stop the witch's latest plots to stamp out every last child in the country. This book starts off, and let me just, like I said, call out the art style here. There's obviously some very rough perspective, but every line is very squiggly. There's not a straight line in sight. It's very 2D style, very little shading. It's mostly flat colors, but there is some gradients, I guess they threw, or textures maybe. It's just this great little wild scenario starting off. You have a witch in the scene, and then what you find out is that the kid is playing with his toys. And then even on this perspective, this is a great perspective, but you can see, or maybe you can't see, but there's like wiggly lines, but it's implied. Like you can tell that this person did all of this with intention. This is a very intentional style. Penelope did this very intentionally. And then, like, I love the little grandma character. She's watching her grandson. She's trying to get food. She is so small, she can't even see over the table. He's, ho hum. She's watching him. She is great. And she smokes. And that becomes like a running joke throughout the comic as well, her smoking. But the way Penelope handled this grandma character, there's just so much character and such a simple style. This is the house. This scenario is when grandma is telling her grandson about witches because he wanted a story. She's hugging him too tight. Look at the expressions. It's all there. Like this style, it just proves that no matter what your style is, what's important is the story good? Is the story well done? Because this book, I had no idea how much I would enjoy this story, but I had so much fun reading it. My inner child was having a blast reading this, and I would definitely, read it again or even buy it, have it on my shelf because it was just that good. The characterization, the grandma, the grandson, them playing off of each other, and even when you get introduced to the witches. And like this book also has like open vignettes where it's just open panels, characters talking, but it flows in a way that it just moves you through the page. It's really great. This is a layout of what to look for in a witch. Their wrinkly hands. Witches apparently don't have any toes. They're bald headed, so they're always wearing wigs, so their heads are always itching. Their smiles are blue, which we actually didn't see that in the book too much. Their noses are weird, eyes are weird. Just like I said, great storytelling. This whole section where he's up in the tree, he's trying to figure out his tree house, and then someone's trying to get his attention. You see that downward shot of him looking at the witch, or a woman, I should say. Him, the woman, the woman, I have a present for you. And then he's like noticing that she meets all the points of a witch. It's just great, great storytelling. This book was so well paced. it really just, it was a page turner. Like, it was so easy to just keep reading and reading. It didn't have any slow bits. And I think that's because it's a kid's book, and kids books, kids lose interest pretty fast. So it had to keep moving. But another call out was that even look at the panels. Like, the paneling doesn't even have straight lines. But because this is a kid's book, that's okay. That's completely acceptable. I don't want to give away the twist of this book or what happens with the witches, because obviously, you know, there's going to be some crazy encounters. But this book is definitely worth the read. It's definitely funny if you happen to have kids. Definitely share it with your kids. They might get a laugh out of it. I know I did. But yeah, this was a great book. So let's do the side to side. The Deep Dark and The Witches, two very different books, very different styles, but great stories nonetheless. So let me know what you guys think. Have you read either of these two books? Have you heard of them before? Are you willing to check them out? And if so, let me know. You know, what did you think about them? What do you think about what you saw? How are you reflecting on the simplicity of the Deep Dark's art style versus the simplicity of the Witch's art style? Does your art style fall somewhere in between that? Are you more detailed, less detailed, or just still finding your style like I am? Let me know in the comment section, and until then, we'll talk soon.